So I believe that's live, but I'm going to double check on my phone because we're streaming from this page, so I can't actually see it. I can't see if anyone is joining or if anyone makes comments unless I join on my phone.
Okay.
So let's see. If anyone is here and is joining us, thank you for being here with us. I am just pulling this up on my phone to make sure that we are live. I can't see if anyone is joining. All right. If anyone is here and is muting that, but I'll leave this here so I can see if anyone makes a comment or if anyone joins us. All right, thank you all so much. This is our second live interview in this brand new community, which anyone who's in the community at this point, I think, can tell that I'm really, really excited about it. Because part of what I've shared so far is that what inspired me to begin this community was my own story. And writing a book that really walks through pieces of my story, which I'm continuing to be in the editing process of, and that's my reset book. And I met Miss Ruth along my journey, which led to the inspiration to write my reset book. And Ruth is just an absolutely amazing person. Now, Ruth isn't on Facebook, so she's not in our Facebook community, but she is there in heart, and she is, right? So amazing. So thank you, Ruth, so much for being with us today and for being willing to share just a snippet of your story, because I know that your story goes above and beyond even what you'll be able to share with us today, right? in
Right.
like
It does.
in like 30 or 40 minutes together. But you being willing to share your story is going to help someone that needed to hear it, someone that needed inspiration, someone that needed hope, someone that needed to see a light or an alternative or a possibility that they just didn't see before. And that really is like the breath and the heart beneath this reset community. And so anyone that joins us, you can do hashtag replay. If you join us live, you can say, hey, let us know that you're here. If you have questions, pop them down below. I'll be checking every so often to see if any questions pop up so that we can answer those for you. But Ruth, before we hop into the particular story that you're going to share with us today, tell us a little bit about you current Ruth, yourself, your life, what you love, and what you're doing with your work and all of that great stuff.
Oh my goodness, that's a loaded question. Hi, Facebook people. Glad to be here today. And it is an honor. I am grateful that I've been asked to do this. Where I am currently today, oh my goodness. I am currently doing my own type of reset with my life and realizing that as I age gracefully, and I am 65 years young, and this year, I'm just looking and examining things in my life that work and don't work, things that bring value, things that do not bring value, and deciding for myself. For the very first time in a long time, I'm choosing me. So it's exciting to choose yourself, because when you love and you care, sometimes you forget about caring about yourself. And it's never too late to reset. So whether you're 25 or 65 like me, you can always do a reset. And part of my reset journey is just examining where I am and where I would like to be and how I'm going to get there on that journey. So that's what I'm doing now. My passion, my love is nutrition. I'm a nutrition educator, and I love talking about nutrition, and I love especially children. Children and nutrition are my two happy places. So that's where I'm at right now.
So beautiful, so beautiful. And I'm curious, Ruth, because so one of the inside secrets I have about Ruth is that she comes from a large family. And I'm curious, Ruth, if you feel like coming from a large family, if part of your experience there is what has also made it hard to prioritize yourself, to put yourself first, to care about yourself, to say like my wants, my needs, it's okay for them to take priority, or if that you feel like that doesn't connect there.
It does. When you come from a large family, you do learn to care and share, and make sure that your siblings are okay and family is okay. What I had to learn was I can still do that and care for myself at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That was huge. And it took me a little long, took me a little while to get there, but I'm here now. I'm grateful to be here, and the peace of mind that I'm getting to understanding that if I don't take care of me, I can't show up good for everybody else.
Yeah, and it's been a journey for you to get here, right? Because I know you and I just personally have had some conversations in the background about this, about, right, like big decisions that you're making in your life and how you go about making those decisions, taking in the weight of what you want in differently than you have before, in different areas of your life. But before you got here to this journey that you're venturing now, there was a whole other part of your journey, right? Like before that, that was
Yeah,
actually physically impeding you, right?
yeah, yes, there was. Way way back in 1997, I was so busy taking care of everything else and being that superwoman, super cape. I got this. I can do it all. My heart ended up failing, and I ended up with something known as congestive heart failure at the very young age of 41. And my heart was so compromised that they said it was a good day because I was still young enough for a heart transplant.
Mm.
And to which I said, no, thank you.
Mm.
And from that day to this, I had to make that shift to make sure that my health, because congestive heart failure is nothing to play with or sneeze at. And with my family, with my friends, with everyone, I had to take a good hard look at where I wanted to be in life and how I needed to show up for myself and for others. And in the process, that's part of the way that I got into nutrition is it's because of my heart condition. I wanted to make sure that I was giving my body the best fuel because food is fuel. Food is also information, and I needed to give my body the best information so that I could turn this chronic disease around. And it took a little time and a lot of processes of what's good for me, what's not good for me, what people are good for me, what relationships I need to be involved in, what people I need to push to the side so that I could get my body back, get my health back. And 21 years later, I was got the very good news that I have a normal functioning heart. And the
And
best part,
energy to run with your grandkids. I've heard you talk about that, right? And you're running your own business and you're encouraging people with nutrition. But I think like that's like a bird's eye overview, right? So there was this chronic illness that was a life threatening
yes,
condition physically, to the point where the doctors were saying to you at the age of 41, like, you you probably need a heart transplant. And that's that's hard to take in, I would imagine, right? Like I think those listening and myself would imagine that it's hard to take in at 41 for me to even consider that I need a heart transplant, and then to go a step further and say no, actually, I'm going to use my own discernment to say that's not for me and I don't need that. I'm not going to do that. How you did that, what that process, what that experience was like for you to even make that decision. So you're handling what they say to you is one thing, but then you're actually responding and deciding something different on the other hand, and what that was like for you.
it was from the moment they said it. For some reason, my brain could not wrap itself around a heart transplant. Nothing in my nothing would receive that diagnosis. Nothing would say, okay, Ruth, you're gonna be sick for the rest of your life. You're gonna be on oxygen. You're gonna need a wheelchair. My whole being could not wrap itself around it. Just I could not receive that information. I understood it. I heard it, but there was no. I was just like, I can't do that. I just can't do it. And that just took me onto the road of just seeking things and looking for things, and of course prayer, and just okay, what's my next step, God? What am I doing next? How do I get over the hump? Even to the point when the doctors were telling me I was getting worse, I couldn't receive that either.
Mm.
I just like, that's not my end. This will not be my end.
Mm.
And every day I would get up and just say, I thank you, God, that I'm healthier and stronger today.
Yeah.
And I just kept those words in my mouth all the time, no matter what was said to me. And I'm not saying I never got down or things didn't bother me or I didn't cry sometimes, but my overall thing was, I thank you, God, I'm healthier and stronger today. So even when they were saying I was not getting better, again, I was like, okay, then God, what do you have to say?
Wow.
You heard them. What do you got? And it was basically like that.
It was like you felt it. Like there was a felt knowing. There wasn't a logical knowing, right? Which the medical doctors are, that's what science goes off of, right? You know, the evidence. And there's absolutely a time and place for this. So in no way, shape, or form are we like dismissing that. But it sounds like feel, you could feel in your body without words. It was this internal experience and faith that
Yes.
was just and it wasn't even pushing against it. It doesn't sound like it's not even like you were pushing against the diagnosis. You said I couldn't embrace it, right? Like I couldn't take it in. I just couldn't. It
Right.
just slid, right? Like it just like slid right off. I'm not even pushing against it. I'm not even trying to fight it. I'm not rebelling against it. Like it's just
Yeah.
I'm this end of the magnet and it's this end, and like we're just moving
Yeah.
apart. Like it's just sliding. Did it feel like that for you? How would you describe how it felt for you?
It felt like I would say there was a little freedom in it.
Yeah.
And not that I didn't take what the doctors were saying seriously, and I believe Dr. Toni touched on it a little bit. I wasn't dismissing them. I wasn't saying, you're wrong and I don't have this disease. I was just saying this would not be my end. I'm not going to receive that you're saying to me, I'm just going to get progressively worse and worse and eventually die. And after I got the good news that my heart was back to normal function, and like I said, it didn't happen overnight, people. 21 years from diagnosis to freedom. But I held on to what I believed for those 21 years. And I just think that that was a part of it because my body would not receive the diagnosis. It just wouldn't receive that I was going to be on, like I said, all those other things.
Wow.
I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to put words to how it feels because that's the thing, right? Is it was such a feeling, it was such an internal experience that words can almost just not capture it. It
Yeah.
sounds like, right? This
Yeah.
is so interesting, Ruth, because so last week we did an interview with Jonathan, who you also know.
Yes.
And he kind of touched on this as well, is that the doctors were saying he was never going to walk again, but he couldn't receive it.
Yeah.
He could not receive it. He could not believe it. It would not register as true for him. And it's the similarity of what you're saying here is so powerful. And so I'm curious too of, have you felt like you've always been someone that can have like some kind of either communication with your intuition or with your God or your higher power or like something bigger, grander than yourself that you think contributed to this, or would you say that that's a completely separate thing? What comes up for
I
you?
would say that was the biggest thing was my spiritual connection and understanding that I do believe in a creator, the creator. And I believe that since he created me, he would have the answers for me.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was praying and asking for leadership and guidance, he led me all the way and gave me things that I needed to do, things I had to stop doing, and all those type of things. So I was led the whole time on what to do and not to do. And not that I did it perfectly.
Sure.
I tell people it's not about being perfect, it's about perfecting. So we just keep perfecting, keep moving along, fall down, get back up, keep it moving. I didn't have time for guilt and shame and all that. I had to keep moving because my life was at stake. My literal life was at stake.
That's huge. That you said I didn't have time for guilt or shame, because that's Something that I see as an incredibly painful point of suffering for so many people is the guilt and shame, whether we admit it or not. If it's happening and it's felt, it's happening, right? Like it's still going to affect you. And the fact that you just said that that wasn't a part of your experience, was that
Right.
intentional? Was, or are you just noticing that in retrospect, or because that's not easy.
I believe that it was, I think it's more retrospect.
Mm.
And, but one of my friends said to me that I would say to her, I'm doing this because my life depends on it.
Hmm.
And like, why are you eating this way? Why? Because my life depends on it. And it did. And because I stayed the course, I got the results that I needed. And after I got the diagnosis, I got the clean bill of health. When I was sharing my story, there was a woman there who is a physician's assistant. And she said to me, with someone with a heart compromise like mine, the life expectancy is like 5 years.
Wow.
Because my heart was functioning at 23%. And when the doctor said 23%, I'm like, 23%? What does that mean? What
Right.
does that mean?
Right. Yeah.
What is that? And he said, that's 1/3 of a normal heart. Oh, that's pretty
20,
bad. That's
21 years, though.
21 years. And the other little part of the story, when I got the clean bill of health, it was February 8th, 2018. And that would have been my father's 100th birthday.
Wow.
But my father died at the age of 48 of heart disease.
Wow. So powerful.
So it was just like, thank you, God. Thank you. On that very day that I got that news. So it just made it extra special for me.
In those 21 years, would you say that that faith was unwavering? Were there times when that faith did waver, or that belief that this is not going to be your end, that did waver? Was it unwavering, or what would you say that was like for you? Because 21 years is not a short time. It's definitely more than 5 years, right?
There were times when I would go to the doctor and I was like, today I'm going to get a good report. And I go there and they say, no, you're not getting better. As those moments, for a short time, I would be a little downhearted, downcast. But then I would have to go back to, this is not my end. This is not the way my story is going to end.
Yeah.
And I would begin to speak words of life over my life, because I believe that life begets life. And if you speak life, life will show up. You speak death, death will show up. You speak whatever you speak over your life, that's what's going to show up in your life. If you speak it into the universe is going to bring it back to you. Whatever your faith belief is, your spiritual beliefs are, that's just the way things, that's universal. You speak it, it comes back. And I just kept speaking life over my life. I wouldn't let go.
Wow, life begets life, and I think that's similar to other terms that we've statements that we've heard, or quotes that we've heard, like hate begets hate, right? And I think fear begets fear, and I think really it's either love or fear if we boil it down, or
Yes.
faith or fear, right? And faith and love are interconnected, and fear is tied to all of that other stuff, the hate and all that stuff. But it's so powerful what you say, and I'm curious, in those moments, no matter how small they were, when you were feeling um, maybe less than connected to your faith, or there was questions or there was doubts, especially after those doctor's appointments, what helped you get through there? Because I think that there might be someone listening that either has been, or will be in this place where that those sad, doubtful moments are longer, they're more extended and more intense. And so it's hard to move through that, or to have a belief outside of that. And so I'm curious about, for you, if you could speak to what helped you move through those moments for yourself.
I think part of it, I'll blame on my mother. Uh, because my father died when I was so young. I was 10 years old when my father died. And my mother, there were 13 of us still at home. And she didn't have time. My mother just kind of picked herself up and did what she had to do to raise her children and keep us safe. And she modeled that before us all the time. And I would just go back, I guess, subconsciously, and what would mommy do? Hmm. And my mother always modeled getting up and picking yourself up and taking responsibility for your life. Mm-hmm. We could not blame the kid down the street or our brother or sister. What did you do? So it's like, what are you going to do with you? Want to sit here and be sad, or are you going to begin to speak those words of life again that you were speaking before, that I shall not die, but I shall live. Mm-hmm. And I would start speaking those words. And it is a process. You have to just keep doing it. Yeah. Get down and then just speak those words. And even if the words don't sound right coming out of your mouth, keep speaking them anyway. Just keep saying it until you believe it. Mm. That's what I had to do. I had to just keep saying it and believing it and saying it and believing it.
And I think taking responsibility for your life is powerful, as well as, like, for some people, there is a resistance there, because when there's trauma, whether it's a physical trauma like what you've experienced, as well as what Jonathan experienced last week, or whether it's an emotional trauma or a mental trauma, or like it feels like someone else is doing something to us and that's what's causing the issue. Right. To tell ourselves, like, let's take responsibility for our life, can sometimes actually create a resistance within someone. And I'm wondering if you've had that experience, and like how you deal with that.
I have, and the bottom line is, because tragedy and bad things happen to people all the time, mm-hmm. but I'm in charge of how I respond to those bad things. How do I respond to having a chronic illness? How do I respond to abuse? How do I respond to verbal things? When people are just talking about you, talking down to you, and all those things. I can choose to absorb all that they're saying, or I can choose to just let it go. Because when you have, I have learned, you have to come to a place where you're comfortable with yourself, and you know who you are as a person. So no matter what they say, it doesn't matter. And years ago, someone said to me, it doesn't matter what they call you. It matters what you respond to. Mm-hmm. So if they're calling you something and you respond to that, then you believe that's who you are. Don't respond to the things that don't line up with who you are. So take an assessment. Sit down. What are your core values?
Yeah. Well, and you said it too, which I agree with so much of what you're saying, is that this is a journey, and oftentimes we just want to get it done. Like, tell me how to do it, I'll get it done, and let's get it over with. And so that's perseverance, not perseverance in spite of yourself, right? So I'm not saying like persevere and martyr yourself or constantly sacrifice yourself, because that's not what we're talking about, right? But persevere in faith, right? Persevere in connection with what you believe to be true, with what you want to be true for you as a person. And that's not going to always be easy, right? It's not always going to be smooth. But we're seeing a thread here with what Jonathan shared last week, and then with what you today are sharing, Ruth, that's such a key. And I talk about this in my actual reset program as well, like my courses, like that often is the missing piece.
Yeah.
That we don't even realize.
You don't. I think sometimes we're so busy doing life, we don't even pause to think, who is Ruth Presley? Not Ruth Presley, wife, sister, auntie, friend, but who am I as a person? Because everything you do is connected to someone, and I'm learning, who is Ruth? What does Ruth like? What would Ruth want to do? Not what are you doing? Yeah, I'll come along. I need to support you. But if it doesn't feel, and I'm not saying you're not supposed to support people, but we have to learn to make those boundaries so that I'm not diminishing myself and my values to support something that doesn't really need my support.
Mm. Mm.
You know?
Wow. So amazing. And so today you are at a place where your heart is healthy, right? You are learning more and more and more because it's a process, it is a journey, right? To connect with yourself and who you are.
Yes.
You have more energy and you help people with their nutrition to help their bodies feel fueled and get that information that is healthy for them, just like you did for you along your journey.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not a one size fits all cookie cutter. This is what everybody needs to do. That's not how I teach. That's not what I believe, because we're all different in some ways. We all need good nutrition, but how does that work for you?
Yeah.
What's the outcome that you want for your life? Yeah.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. And I know you've heard me say too, cookie cutter, this isn't the thing. So when we see like the magic formulas or just do this and then this is going to happen. Now there's sound bites that we put out there, right? For whether it's for helping you catch your eye because there's so much white noise that if you don't put out
Yeah.
some sound bites or some pieces that catches someone's eye, they're not going to pay attention, right? So that there's a time and a place for that too. But that's not really what's going to get you from point A to point B to point C to point D, right? It's going to be so unique.
It is. And that those sound bites are to get your attention so that we can so that you can come in and learn more.
Yep.
The sound bite isn't the thing.
Yep.
Sound bite it's coming closer so that you can learn these things and then apply them to your life.
Yeah. Wow. So amazing. So amazing. I always love hearing you share your wisdom and your experience. And I think, I mean, there's so much power to what you've shared in so many aspects of your story. But I really love too that kind of underlying all of it has been this, it doesn't matter where you are at in your life. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter your stage. It doesn't matter your role, grandma, mom, wife, dad, father, grandfather. Like that doesn't matter as far as you being able to progress in your journey. And when you're not progressing in your journey, you feel stuck. And so this perseverance of moving forward with faith or just moving with faith, whatever, moving with faith, right? Is such an important point because we can lose that, I think, sometimes. And this does not mean that everyone has to believe in the same God or the same higher power. But I do think that there is a missing link. And again, I talk about this in the Reset course for those that want to go deeper, but like there's this missing link of something outside of us.
Yeah.
Right? Something outside of us that is just more than us, more powerful than us, yet still loves and cares for us.
Yes.
That is kind of got our back. Whatever happens, wherever it goes, even and especially when it feels like, why is this happening to me?
Right. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
Mm. And so I want to kind of come to a close with asking you, Ruth, because you came here to in part share your story and it's going to help along your continued healing, but also to inspire others, whoever's out there that needs to connect with a part of your story, that needs to be inspired by it today, tomorrow, next year, next week, whenever. They're going to gain that inspiration. But I want to ask, is there someone that inspires you, like a person in this world, whether it's maybe a famous person that you don't personally know, or maybe it is a person that you do personally know and have an intimate connection with that inspires you? And what is it about them that's inspiring to you?
Oh my goodness. There are, as soon as you said it, like three names and boom, 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 boom. So, oh my goodness. I would say I'll give. Can I give three names?
Sure.
But okay. Obiama Martin, Dr. Deirdre Jackson, and Shay Bynes. They all inspire me. They are women that have come over great adversity and are out there sharing. the light and love and just helping people around the world to live a better life. And those are the three that came to mind. And of course, you do too. So
Wow.
I love what you do as well. Um, Not here anymore, but it would absolutely be my mama. My mother was one of the greatest influences in my life because she showed and demonstrated what it's like to overcome.
Mm.
I don't know many women that would have had 13 children still living at home and never worked outside of the home, never worked outside of the home without a high school diploma, that just went back to work and did what she had to do to keep us together. So my mom, but those are the inspiring women.
Wow. So beautiful. That growth through adversity story. Whoever you are, wherever you're at in your journey, whenever you're listening to this, let us know what comes up for you. You can give us a hashtag inspire if this is inspirational for you, hashtag replay if you're catching the replay. But listen, there is a saying that goes something like pain transforms to purpose. But it's only if we allow it, right? And so I think that's so evident in this conversation is it's not that you're saying that there was no pain throughout this experience. It's not like you're saying there was no fear. It's not like you're saying there was no challenge. You're not saying that at all, right? But through all of that pain and that challenge and that adversity, it has ultimately helped to transform you and your life into this purpose that feels really meaningful for you.
Yeah,
Right?
meaningful for you. And yeah, just go out there and seek and take the reset. I'm just saying, just take it.
So sweet.
that is a shameless plug. Dr. Toni she's amazing, and she loves to give of her time and her talent all the time. She's just very open and honest and all those good things.
Thank you, Ruth. That is so kind of you and so sweet and much appreciated. I did not pay her to say that.
Absolutely not.
No, I'm always honored to have a conversation with you and to share space with you. So thank you so much. Are there any last words that you would like to share with our audience that might be watching now or later?
Just go do it.
Mm.
Go do it. Show up for you. Because some of us are sitting in the corner and we don't want to shine. Go shine. Go shine. Those are my words of encouragement.
Yes.
Go shine.
Yes. Yes. Shine your unique light. I agree. I agree. Thank you so much, Ruth, for your time and your space, your energy, and your story, and just all that you are. I hope you have an absolutely beautiful day. And me and you, we have to off this. We have to connect again and catch up.
Definitely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. Bye, Miss Ruth.
Bye, people. I'm going to leave. Okay. Are we going?
Well, yeah, I'm ending the live right now.